Earth questions. How can you be sure you're not being lied to when they tell you Earth is flat? This is a common question, and certainly a good one. How can you be so sure you're not being lied to about your ball Earth? The answer is simple. We cannot be sure. However, there sure seems to be some major problems with heliocentrism and NASA. The next question is, where is the edge? We don't know. Considering what is ever becoming more common knowledge amongst the masses, governments around the world are kind of just there to divide and conquer. Obvious false flags and other epic fails witnessed in recent years make it not completely far-fetched to suppose they could stand to benefit by keeping us contained, keeping us consumers, keeping us focused on our differences as egomaniacal, unconscious slaves, believing they came from a magical explosion or chance. It is, after all, almost like keeping this realm clear of love and unity is the goal of the psychopaths at the top. There are ancient texts that point to the Antarctic ice wall that encircles the flat Earth as a kind of icy cold barrier holding us in. Other ancient texts have pointed to there being more land and suns and moons and outer worlds or circles beyond the circle we are stuck in. It isn't hard for people to imagine infinity when thinking in terms of outer space, but somehow imagining infinity on a flat Earth is not even considered. But we don't know. We will be shot if we try. Seriously. The Antarctic Treaty was established in 1959, and nobody has been able to independently explore there since. Next question. Where does the sun go if the Earth is flat? The sun and moon are very close, and each independent sources of light that travel around the flat Earth clockwise. They simply go into the vanishing point. The sun's light is warm and heats things up, and the moonlight is cold. Yeah, that's right. You won't see anyone with an infrared thermometer gun testing this out at a science show or learn about it in an imagination station, aka science center. There are some videos online of people trying this experiment, reading the outside surface of asphalt in the moonlight and noticing it to be colder than the surface in the shade of the moonlight, under a tree for example. This is neat and crushes conventional understanding, to say the least. Maybe that's why you haven't heard of this. As for the sun, it is much smaller and closer. The human eye can only see so far due to moisture, dust, pollution, and so on. On an Alaskan cruise ship, it is not unheard of to see complete daylight on one side of the ship and complete dark or night on the other. Your eyes can only see an object so far until it goes into, not over, the horizon. Light isn't what you've been taught. If you believe a government entity is so smart, they can tell you how many millions of light years a star is away, you can't be helped. Chances are you've always had a buried consciousness knowing that this kind of information isn't science or correct. Next question. What is underneath the flat Earth? Mainstream knowledge indicates that we know less about what is underneath our feet than what is in the solar system. We have also been shown cute CGI images that detail all that is inside our ball Earth. It is ridiculous. We have discovered the opposite kinds of evidence than would be expected in Earth samples taken from the deep. There are probably 5 elephants and a giant swimming turtle. Next question. What about ships disappearing? This example reeks of pseudoscience, to say the least. Take a telescope to the beach and play a game of now you see it, now you don't with yourself. Or just play with yourself. This point is also addressed in issue number 2, We Are Being Robbed. What about all the pictures of the Earth? There are no pictures of Earth. Yeah, that's right, folks. Just CGI images. You are living on a painting. Look it up. This question is also addressed in the "We Are Being Robbed" article of issue number 2 in the 3rd paragraph. Why are all the other planets round? They are round points of light. That's all we really know. We have never been to the moon, and certainly not Mars. What makes you think the pictures we are fed of them aren't also CGI images? Of course they are. Pluto even has the outline of Pluto the cartoon dog on it. Wakey wakey! What about satellites and GPS? Satellites are a hoax. GPS uses triangulation off of cell phone towers. This question is addressed beautifully in the "We Are Being Robbed" article of issue number 2 in the 5th paragraph. If all it takes to convince you that satellites are real is a website claiming to show you in real time the tracking of them, or Google Earth for example, you can't be helped. It's also entirely possible that ribbons of imagery from low-flying, high-altitude drone aircraft could be stitched together. Didn't it always seem a bit hard to believe that such clear pictures of Earth could be gotten from satellites in space? Couple this with Google Street View, and hopefully we have some realization, or maybe you are still playing at the beach. Is outer space even real? Some say there are waters above and below, but we simply don't know. Points of light that look like stars appear in water. When a vibration is introduced, it seems a bit ridiculous to suppose a vacuum and non-vacuum can exist with nothing separating them. The only thing NASA has taken to space is your imagination. The next question. How is circumnavigation possible on a flat Earth? Well, of course, it is, but not north-south, only east-west. The North Pole is actually more of a mystery than you may have been told. But an even bigger mystery is, of course, our ice wall in the south. Everything you think you are doing on a globe is completely possible on a flat Earth. What about seasons? The small, close sun circles closer and further from the North Pole seasonally. Basically the same idea of what happens on a globe, but flattened out. What about gravity? Gravity is a scapegoat for all that cannot be explained, and it has never been proven. It is all about density and buoyancy. If something is heavier than air, it falls. Gravity is a bullshit word we have in place of density. Mainstream science basically says gravity is God because it explains everything. It is used to explain the magical line of vacuum and non-vacuum space. The law of gravitation is said by the advocates of the Newtonian system of astronomy to be the greatest discovery of science and the foundation of the whole of modern astronomy. If therefore it can be shown that gravitation is a pure assumption and an imagination of the mind only, that it has no existence outside the brains of its expounders and advocates, the whole of the hypothesis of this modern so-called science fall to the ground as flat as the surface of the ocean, and this most exact of all sciences, this wonderful feat of intellect, becomes at once the most ridiculous superstition and the most gigantic imposture to which ignorance and credulity could ever be exposed. Thomas Winship, Zetetic Cosmology. What about the Coriolis effect? We are told it is a result of the Earth spinning. This is not always predictable. It is disproven, actually. Look it up. No aircraft has to account for it. Why can't I see infinitely far? Because of science. It is called the vanishing point. Of course we can't see infinitely far. Wake up! Is the flat Earth a religious thing? It doesn't matter. Whether you are religious or not, you can still see the flat Earth. There's a lot of bullshit out there to sift through. Beware of the Flat Earth Society in particular. They are a gatekeeper and regarded as a nonsensical shill by true flat earthers. Check out Eric Dubay if you would like to be introduced to flat earth. Also see ilearn.tw/flatearth. Next question. Are all pilots, scientists, and governments in on it? They have been indoctrinated just like most of us have. If any do believe the earth is flat, they would certainly keep quiet for fear of ruining their reputation or losing their job. Next question. NASA isn't the only space program. Are all others in on it too? Yes. Money and banks control the governments, and the governments control the people, not the other way around. This is just another part of the package deal our illustrious, elected or not, leaders are to feed or support. Space agencies are especially compartmentalized. Another fun and interesting little tidbit of information is the vector logo symbology in their space programs. The covert symbolism that space agencies around the world use is just the beginning, and the question really becomes who or what these people are paying homage to. Why the lie? We are one of a septillion, many zeros, other planets flying through space. They want us to think we are just a cosmic accident from a Big Bang 14 billion years ago. They want us to think that life is meaningless, and they don't want us to understand our origin. They push the alien agenda to distract us into thinking we originated from aliens. They may even shock us with a fake alien invasion or a fake disclosure. They could be hiding more land or other worlds. We really don't know. We are created special and with purpose that's being hidden on purpose. We have been totally fooled by the economic fiat money system that feeds this manufactured reality. We were never meant to live like this, and knowledge of the flat earth is a step in the right direction. Not all of us will willingly accept their one world authority. The ones that do are not necessarily wrong or stupid, but rather victims of their own fear. Who is responsible for this deception? Evil people. It doesn't matter what you believe is true, because you can't deny that there are elitists at the top who are not strangers to screwed up clubs, societies, rituals, pedophilia, murder, spirit cooking, and so on. You may not believe in evil, but they do.